Mwananchi, how are you doing? I hope you are doing very fine. I'm also fine. Now, yes, there's that division in ODM party. That is, we have two Lindas. Leaders are Lindaing. So we have Linda Mwananchi faction, which is anti-broad-based government, and Linda Ground, led by Oburu Odinga, which is pro-broad-based, and Linda Mwananchi, headed by Edwin Sifuna, if you didn't know. Now, the Linda Mwananchi faction, that is the Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino and Orengo and Osotsi, have said that the NDC that has been called by ODM is illegal and therefore they won't attend. Yes, you heard me right. They won't attend it. It is illegal. With Orengo and Kalibamisi claiming that it was illegally communicated and that those who communicated the NDC are illegally in office and that they wanted it to be communicated by the Secretary General, who is Edwin Sifuna. However, Omanyo replied and said that they are welcoming all the members of ODM. However, when listening to her keenly, I realized she said that if the Secretary General does not go for meetings, so it got me wonder. She was the acting Secretary General. How comes she is now calling Edwin Sifuna Secretary General, yet Edwin Sifuna was told to step aside? That is just changing goalposts and trying to have their cake and eating it. Anyway, this NDC is just, by the way, there's something that I noticed in an interview that Orengo did with NTV just in the course of that NDC talks. And he said that they are not planning to leave ODM, the members of ODM, and that there are rumors going by that there are not rumors actually. It is something that Linda Mwananchi party is about to be registered, and Orengo has said that they don't have such an idea to register Linda Mwananchi as a party, and that the members of ODM even certainly claiming that maybe it can be state-sponsored to for political reasons, and to try to make that a facade that they've left ODM and have formed a new political outfit. Let's listen to this story done by NTV, then we go into it deeply.
Now, and allies of ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna now say they will not attend the March 27th ODM National Delegates Convention, arguing the meeting was not properly convened. The leaders, including Siaya Governor James Orengo, Saboti MP Caleb Amisi, and Embakasi East MP Babu Owino, say the convention is illegal, citing, among other issues, that the notice should have been issued by the Secretary General and not the Deputy Secretary General Catherine Omanyo. But as NTV's David Muboka reports, the Oburu Oginga-led faction within ODM is vowing to push ahead with the convention, even inviting all delegates to attend and shape the future of the 20-year-old party.
In exactly 3 weeks, the ODM party will hold its first National Delegates Convention since the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga.
Munanijua? Mimi ni nani? Mimi ni nani?
But leaders allied to embattled ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna are already signaling they will boycott the meeting, insisting the process leading up to the convention is illegal.
It must be given notice thereof by the Secretary General. That is mandatory. And obviously the notice we have seen is in the hand of the Deputy Secretary General. When it suits her or that cabal of party leaders, she's the Deputy Secretary General. When they're out there in the public, she's the Acting Secretary General.
There are only 2 entities that can be called. The first NDC is what we call a special NDC that was supposed to be called when Baba died. That was supposed to be called to give mandate to an interim party leader. It was never called. So that's why we question why is Oburu in office. Because it is the NDC, the special NDC that was supposed to put him in office. So that is putting the cart before the horse. He already occupied an office, now he's going for an election. Where have you ever seen such a thing? How do you occupy an office first? I become a member of parliament and then I present myself for a general election. They
also point to pending grassroots elections in several ODM strongholds, warning that holding the convention before those elections are concluded risks locking out some regions from key party decisions.
They want to illegally endorse certain officials who have never been elected by the National Delegates Convention. They want by acclamation for those people to be pronounced as national officials. But the Constitution requires, and the democratic principles of the party requires, that in a convention where there is the election of national officials, all members, including all delegates who wish to be considered for any position, should be able to present their names.
This is not how Baba practiced democracy. They have just learned, they have just entered broad-based and they quickly learned the bad manners of UDA. Very quickly, they are very fast in learning bad manners. They just entered broad-based, they have now learned the bad manners of, circumventing law, trying to look for loopholes, lacunas in law. Those are not the manners of ODM.
But in a swift response, ODM Deputy Secretary General Catherine Omanyo has dismissed the concerns, maintaining that the convention will proceed and will be inclusive of all party members, while defending her decision to issue the notice.
There's nothing wrong with me giving notice, because the SG is not there. Does not attend meetings. Even recently he didn't attend, he didn't send apology. We cannot stop to wait for somebody, one person. The party is a club of members. We have almost 6 million members. We cannot wait for one.
Even as tensions simmer, Omanyo extended an olive branch to Sifuna's Linda Mwananchi faction, inviting them to attend the convention and contribute to discussions on the party's future.
So let them not look at us as enemies. We are not. I thought we were family. We can differ in opinions, but we are family. So if they are really genuine ODM delegates, or they are genuine ODM MPs, whatever they call themselves, as long as they say they still belong to ODM, then they should not be looking at this special delegates convention as an illegitimate thing. It is wrong.
But those who are saying that Oburu is not validly elected, I challenge them. If they say it is NDC, let us go with them to NDC. I will call it very soon.
But with leaders such as Orengo, Amisi and Embakasi East MP Babu Owino already indicating they will stay away, questions are now emerging about whether the faction could be laying the groundwork for political realignment ahead of the 2027 election.
We suspect these are normal brokers who register a party and then they offer it for sale. Even ODM had that experience, when there was ODM with a full orange and ODM with 1.5 orange. Somebody's trying to do that. But we also suspect the government could be involved in order to bring a certain kind of politics that probably we are trying to register a political party so that the members of ODM will think that we are moving out of ODM. We are ODM, we will remain ODM, and we'll stick in ODM.
Always. Let's start with a small story. Now, There was once a football team in a local league that was too strong. Think of Arsenal. Every time they played, they dominated the match. The opponents couldn't beat them on the pitch. So one clever rival came up with a different strategy. Instead of defeating the team during the match, he went secretly and registered another club using almost the same name and jersey. Now, when the real players showed up at the league office, officials told them, "But you already joined another team. According to the rules, you can't play for two clubs." Just like that, the strongest players were disqualified without even touching the ball. That, my friends, is not football. That is chess. And Kenyan politics sometimes works exactly like that. Right now, there's a serious political drama inside the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, and it revolves around something called Linda Mwananchi. For those who haven't been following closely, Linda Mwananchi is basically a political movement associated with leaders like Edwin Sifuna, Babu Owino, Caleb Amisi, James Orengo, Godfrey Osotsi. These are leaders who have been openly critical of the broad-based government arrangement. So naturally, tensions inside ODM have been rising. Then suddenly, a party appears. Out of nowhere, reports emerge that Linda Mwananchi is being registered as a political party. Now, here is where the plot thickens. The same leaders associated with the movement quickly rushed to the Registrar of Political Parties and said, "Please stop that registration. We are not forming a party. We are members of ODM." Which raises the question, if they didn't apply to register the party, who did? Then Orengo raises suspicion. During an interview on NTV Kenya, James Orengo dropped a subtle but heavy hint. He said something that basically translates to, "This looks familiar." And he referenced the time ODM was once split by the creation of another ODM faction with the orange and the half symbol. Veterans of Kenyan politics remember that era very well. That was not just a party split. That was a political sabotage with paperwork. Let's look at the possible chess move. Now let's break down the theory circulating in political corridors. Suppose a party called Linda Mwananchi gets registered. The founders or members listed include leaders like Sifuna, Babu, Osotsi, or Amisi. Legally, those leaders would automatically cease being members of ODM, and Kenyan law is very clear. If you are elected on a party ticket and you leave that party, you risk losing your seat, losing committee positions, losing parliamentary leadership roles. Just like that, game over. Who gets hit hardest? Look at what could happen. Edwin Sifuna risks losing his Senate leadership role and committee memberships. Babu Owino could face similar consequences in parliament. Godfrey Osotsi could also lose committee influence. These are not small positions. These committees control oversight of billions of shillings. So removing these leaders from ODM quietly weakens the loudest critics of the government. Kenyan politics is wild. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering someone registered a company in your name, then told your boss you resigned. That is the kind of political drama we are talking about here. It's not even street fighting anymore, it's legal warfare. Meanwhile, inside ODM, things are getting interesting. You now have internal battles brewing. For example, comedian and MP Jalango has already declared interest in challenging Sifuna politically in Nairobi. So the ground is shifting quickly. ODM is no longer the calm house it once was. There are factions, there are strategies, and there are people playing very quiet chess. The big question is the government trying to force rebellious ODM leaders out of the party? Or neutralize them politically before 2027? Or create a quieter, more cooperative ODM? Or is this simply internal ODM chaos playing itself out? That's the big mystery. But one thing is clear. Politics is no longer about shouting in rallies. It's about legal traps, paperwork, and political chess. If this Linda Mwananchi party registration is indeed a political trap, then someone out there is playing a very sophisticated game, because removing your opponents without elections is the most efficient political strategy ever invented, and Kenyan politics has mastered that art. If you enjoyed these sharp, unfiltered breakdowns of Kenyan politic chess games like this, subscribe to HiiStory, because here we don't just report politics, we decode the strategy behind it. Bye.